Chancellor Joseph I. Castro addresses San Jose State about the recent controversy.
The end of the semester is only 3 weeks away, and students are starting to feel overwhelmed, stressed, and depressed. I talked to some specialists to see what could be causing those reactions.
A certain platform gives students unrestricted creativity, free from faculty influence. Update News starts now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, your source for what's happening with a fresh perspective on today's issues. You're watching Update News.
Welcome to Update News. I'm Mickey Adams.
And I'm Rachel Tate. CSU Chancellor Joseph Castro visited SJSU digitally this week, offering a rare news conference with members of the San Jose media. But the new chancellor declined to go into detail about the CSU response to the sexual abuse allegations against former athletic director Scott Shaw. University President Mary Papazian saying they were handcuffed from speaking about the scandal. At least 17 members of the Spartans swim team say Shaw touched them inappropriately. Swim coach Sage Hopkins and former deputy athletic director Steve O'Brien have filed suits against the university and administrators, alleging cover-up and retaliation. The San Jose State chapter of the California Faculty Association has called for Castro to place athletic director Marie Tuitt and 3 other administrators on leave.
I just want to express, my empathy along with President Papazian, who I know has been very clear in apologizing for circumstances that occurred before she was president. And I have full confidence in the external investigations that are going on right now. And I know that she will act accordingly based on the evidence that comes forward.
An investigation in 2009 cleared Shaw of wrongdoing. He remained as sports medicine director for another 10 years. Another SJSU investigation last year determined that Shaw touched 8 former and 2 current athletes inappropriately. Shaw resigned in August.
More than 3/4 of undergraduates who were surveyed have been struggling with lack of motivation for online learning. This is according to the National Association of Students Financial Aid, which surveyed students at 10 public research universities last year. Kenya Caballero spoke with some students who are suffering from this new form of senioritis.
First, the stress was noticeable when we switched, because I was already getting used to a routine, like going to class every day.
Brandon De Alva is a student at Sacramento City College, majoring in art. He says he's more of a hands-on learner, the type of learner that benefits from being able to attend classes in person, according to psychologist Gracie Madero.
It's really hard to be at home. It's really hard to be isolated and not to be able to feel connected to, other classmates or peers or teachers.
Lack of motivation often causes procrastination among students, leading students, including Cesar Ortega, to feel overwhelmed.
I get to do it whenever I want. So whenever I feel like doing it, then I do it online. But again, it's like a time limit to do it. So I get stressed to do it into that time limit.
Psychologists say that it's important for you to look out for red flags, such as feeling tired and lack of interest. It is important that you seek the help needed if you're feeling depressed.
So as far as, just online learning, not everybody learns in the same way. And so having, all the classes be online, that's not necessarily suitable for everybody. And so that can be really hard for, an individual.
Brandon De Alva says that even though he tries to keep himself busy so he doesn't overthink, his biggest worry is the feeling of not having help to complete his assignment.
Now it seems like teachers are more busy. For some reason, they'll answer an email 2 weeks from when you sent it.
Experts say that it's important for students to interact with others or perform a hobby that will make them feel good about themselves. This helps reduce the negative thoughts and feelings generated from depression.
It gets my mind off of doing work. I mean, it's still work, but it's not like homework. It's different. I'm getting paid to do this, and so it's different. It gets my mind off of it for a little bit.
For those students feeling overwhelmed and lack of interest, San Jose State offers counseling. In San Jose, Kenia Caballero, Update News.
SJSU students from various fields of art are finding a medium to express themselves. Meet Space, a student-run art magazine, was launched virtually during the lockdown. Shiri Marwaha is live in Cupertino with more. Shiri?
Rachel, Meet Space is a platform for unrestricted expression through art and without faculty influence. And for almost a year now, it's been going strong.
Unconventional art like the unseen world, which is about the inner child in us that never grows up, is what Meet Space is all about. Third-year animation illustration student Megan Graham is the art director at Meet Space.
Our goal is to help influence and bring forth art that is not necessarily like made for class.
Meet Space provides a platform to expand creativity, including even animation and jokes as art.
Sometimes a lot of stuff can be conventional or whatnot, so we're trying to get a little bit more punk, a little bit more experimental with the magazine.
Fourth-year animation illustration student Ryan Johnson is the founder and editor-in-chief of the magazine. He says the creative community on campus was disconnected until the magazine came along last July.
There are a lot of different artistic communities, and there's a lot of different, there's a bunch of different kind of small fields of artists. And I noticed that as an animation student, I knew none of them.
This inspired Johnson to launch Meet Space, which includes a wide genre of collaborating artists.
There was just a lot of research and planning and figuring out the structure of the thing, and then et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And now we have 3 issues.
Independence is crucial to the magazine that occasionally seeks the advice of graphic design assistant professor Diane Lee.
She doesn't influence the actual magazine. She's just our kind of the person we go to if we need help.
Fourth-year design student Jasmine Datar is the social media coordinator, says her job is to maintain their online social media presence.
Using Instagram and creating a platform for artists to share their personal work and the work that they put in the magazine.
Datar says the magazine has received tremendous support from the public.
With our Kickstarter, we actually reached our funding goals within a day, just under 7 hours.
The managerial position at Meet Space is fluid and changes annually. The current students retire and move on, enriched by this experience.
Leaves me really grateful, because it leaves me as someone where I go, I get to make some of the magic that made me, and I get to let other people experience that love, and I think they have.
We can all enjoy this creative SJSU student-produced art magazine digitally, and it is free of cost.
When we come back, we'll have more news for you.
Student meteorologist Joshua Gilman will be here with the week's forecast.
A group of students is forming a support group to help those with mental health issues.
And the oldest profession is adopting a modern approach.
Update News will be back right after this.
Still recovering from the aftermath of a horrible year, many students are left suffering from depression and anxiety. According to the Centers for Disease Control, the percentage of adults with recent symptoms of anxiety or depression increased about 5% since August.
Student Dana Davis was diagnosed with depression when she was only 10 years old.
It doesn't go away. It's not like a sickness. It's like a whole disease that you just have to cope with.
Davis says she has a few ways she copes with her emotions during a depressive episode.
Meditate, whatever, self-care. I'll reach out to close friends that make me feel safe and whatnot, and reassure me and stuff.
Davis believes older generations were not as open about mental health and depression as millennials and Gen Z are today.
Ask me what I've had for breakfast today. I tell them I had anxiety, depression, paranoia, and stress for breakfast.
I feel like our generation is probably the most traumatized, just exposure of social media.
The Garrett Lee Smith Grant is a campus suicide prevention grant program. The purpose of the program is to enhance mental health services for all college students, prevent mental and substance abuse disorders, promote help-seeking behavior and reduce negative public attitudes, and improve the identification and treatment of at-risk college students so they can successfully complete their studies. Mental Health Ambassador Erin Jew is the co-leader of a depression discussion group for the Garrett Lee Smith Grant.
I've always felt that it was important for people to talk about their stories with mental health issues because the greatest social changes occurred when people broke boundaries.
Jew says he understands it can be really hard for people to share their stories and open up.
Even if you don't know that you're struggling with depression, if you feel like you're struggling with something along those lines, maybe this could help you understand.
Jew says they are starting to see a lot of new people attending the group meetings.
I remember I told the group that I hoped that we could change at least one person's life. And I think that we're doing that now. And I think the fact that it's growing and that more people are resonating with it is just a really amazing thing.
Miranda Garcia is a current member of the Depression Discussion Group.
It's basically like a safe space for students to come and then almost just like kind of be there and support each other in whatever we want to share or whatever we want to express. There's like never any judgment.
Garcia says she understands it can be very scary to initially seek help when you are feeling down.
If they want to, they don't even have to have their camera on. They can change their name to be anonymous, so they don't even have to like have anything that connection, and they can just type in the chat too. That's how anyone feels comfortable sharing.
Organizers of the program say as a community, we need to normalize the topic of mental health and asking for help when we need it.
Sex work has been a way to earn money for centuries, but platforms such as OnlyFans are giving the industry a facelift. OnlyFans is a content subscription service that allows for creators to be paid directly from their fans on a monthly basis as well as tips. Customers commonly use OnlyFans for arousal, entertainment, and companionship. We spoke with an OnlyFans content creator who says the biggest appeal is that consumers can feel more connected with their creators by talking to them and asking for specific services.
It's also giving me an ego boost. I feel like I have more confidence, and that doesn't even stem from guys giving me compliments at all. It's kind of just like showing my body off in a way that I feel is powerful and sexy.
OnlyFans gives more control to its creators by allowing them to set their own prices and decide what they're comfortable doing.
And now we have the 5-day weather forecast with student meteorologist Joshua Gilman. Joshua?
We are currently in the midst of spring, and you sense that? The pollen from all the new flowers? If you suffer from allergies, that's not the greatest news because throughout the Bay Area, as seen here by this 30-day pollen historic overview, pollen levels have been in the medium-high range. However, these days, it's transitioned from the medium-high level to just medium. The main culprits of pollen this spring season are grass, oak trees, and the ash plant. Here's the pollen futurecast, specifically San Jose, where the pollen concentration will actually increase going into the weekend, but still staying out of that high level. Now, let's take a look at the 5-day forecast for the Bay, where skies will be extra clear and crisp, and temps continually warming up, with some places seeing highs only in the 80s. In Santa Cruz, the highs will be mainly in the low to mid 70s, with a gradual cool down into Wednesday being at 69 degrees, and the lows will be in the upper 40s. And once again, sunny skies across the panel, with the only exception of fair conditions on Wednesday, meaning very little clouds. San Francisco will see similar weather to Santa Cruz with highs in the lower 70s, and lows will be fairly consistent in the lower 50s. Oakland will see highs a little bit warmer in the mid 70s mainly, and the lows will be in the lower 50s. Finally, San Jose will be seeing high temperatures only in the 80s this week, with the warmest days on Sunday and Monday at 84 degrees, and the lows will be consistent as well, mainly 51 degrees and in the lower 50s. All right, that's the weather forecast update for now, and get ready to put that sunblock on soon because those ultraviolet rays are really starting to intensify.
When we return, Ivan Garcia will be here with sports.
And a peek at the week ahead. Stay with us.
At San Jose State University,
we discover who we want to be. For ourselves,
for our families,
for our communities.
Different and unexpected.
Begin here.
At the heart of a transforming valley, in a city that is tough and beautiful.
We are Spartans.
What powers us changes our world.
And now we have Ivan here with sports.
Ivan, how much longer are we going to have to wait to get some more football?
Well, the NFL draft is over, and now we have to wait 3 months until the first preseason game. The San Francisco 49ers chose quarterback Trey Lance with a 3rd overall pick. Lance played in 19 games from North Dakota State, but only started in 17 games from 2018 to 2020. Lance played just the first game of the 2020 season due to the COVID pandemic postponing a big portion of the season. Lance decided to step away from North Dakota State to focus on the NFL draft. Lance had a 30-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, but some felt as if there wasn't enough film for the quarterback. The 49ers had no problem taking him 3rd overall as they hoped to improve their team after an injury-plagued 6-10 season. 2 Spartans were signed to the NFL as undrafted free agents. Wide receivers Bailey Gaither and Trey White didn't hear their name called during the 7 rounds of the NFL draft, but were quickly signed after. Gaither signed to the Green Bay Packers and White signed to the Buffalo Bills. They have to show in training camp that they deserve a spot on the 53-man roster. Good luck, gentlemen. Make SJSU proud. SJSU women's tennis coach Chad Skorupka won the 2021 Mountain West Coach of the Year. The team went 15-1 on the season and earned its 3rd ever entry in the NCAA Division I Women's Tennis Championship. This is Skorupka's 2nd Coach of the Year honor. His first was in 2017 when the tennis team was also entered in the tournament but lost to Cal Berkeley. Freshman Irena Murardian also won the 2021 Mountain West Co-Freshman of the Year. Lara Marco and Savannah Sendar were honored as All Mountain West in doubles. The Spartans look for revenge as they face the 16 seed Cal Berkeley tomorrow at 1 p.m. And it was just announced yesterday, Spartan Sports will have fans for the last events this spring. The only sports are football, softball, and baseball. The Spartan Football Spring Showcase will take place this Saturday at 4 p.m. and will allow around 2,000 attendees. As for softball and baseball, only those invited by each student athlete will be able to attend the upcoming games. And that's all I have for sports.
And now we'll look at the week ahead. Check out the future of alternative art exhibitions with the Wish You Were Here Correspondence Exhibition on May 7th at 6 p.m.
Join San Jose State's Department of Film and Theater on May 7th at 7:30 p.m. for a virtual performance of Shakespeare and the Language That Shaped a World.
Join Dr. Charles Egan on May 11th at 7 p.m. for a lecture and Q&A on pre-World War II poetry of Chinese, Japanese, and Korean immigrants. These are just a few virtual events that you can attend from the comfort of your own home. That does it for this week's edition of Update News.
For all of us here, thanks for joining us and see you next week.